Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript party, and it's my buddy Rhett back there. And we are going to write some code, basically some end-to-end testing with Cypress today. So basically, I spent like I spent like a week writing code to, and what I was trying to do was basically, what used to happen is when this application would come up, it would show up with 16 renderers, and and we did learn earlier, months ago, that the browser can only support 16 renderers. It's just something that's just built into browsers. But then we spent about maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, sort of building out these and getting keyboards working for where you could click this and then add visualizations. And then we spent like 5 solid days. Well, I mean, I only do like these videos are like a half hour long to an hour, sometimes a little more than an hour. Um, and so we spent 5 of those sessions just writing unit tests to get everything back up to 100%, and we finished that yesterday, which is awesome. So that's good, and that's how we got where we are right now. Um, today is May 16th, Captain's Log, May 16th. I went outside. I took the dogs. It is 8:07 a.m. I took the dogs out about 7:45. I think it was probably, let's say, my guess was 67 degrees, feels like 74. So let's see what we get here. Good morning, widgets. So it says it's actually 70 degrees out right now. And feels like 79. Oh, so I think I'm starting to acclimate to the warmer weather. I did take my new husky puppy that we adopted or rescued, I guess you would call. Basically, he was tied up to a bench somewhere, and then one of our neighbors found him, just sort of came across him, and then they didn't know what to do, and so they tried to keep him. There's a girl who lives across the street. She's a really nice person. I remember watching her when she was just like 8 years old, going up and down the trail, and now I want to say 25 or 26 years old, and just an absolute sweetheart. And she brought him by and was just like, "Can you please let him spend the night tonight, and I will come back and take him to the pound tomorrow?" And I was like, "Ah, nah, you can leave him here," because we have 3 dogs, so that'll put us up to 4, which is the legal limit in Cobb County. So we have the legal max, and then we also have 2 cats who cannot stand the new dog, even though he's just like a 6-month-old Siberian Husky puppy. It's probably some kind of mix. And I took him for a run. It was like 85 degrees, and then we went in the creek. I also took my German Shepherd and Jack Russell. We came running too, but they can run off leash and they just stay with me, even with hundreds of people out there at the park. They just stay right with me, and we ran, and then we go into our creek, and the water in the creek's always like 60 or like 58 degrees, 57 degrees. It's just very constant temperature all year round. But anyways, yeah. So let's see, what do we? So apparently, someone BF Goodrich thinks I need tires, and then it is May and Asthma Awareness Month. So, anyways, that's that. So yesterday I totally forgot to give Rhett her nut, and she behaved really well. But let me give her a nut today. Let's see. Apparently I had to change up the way my headphones are because when the new dog is a little taller, he likes to run under my desk, so he was getting caught up in my headphones while I was working yesterday. So here we are. So let's run our test. Let's see if we can do this out of memory. So I believe what I type in is npm run Cypress and open. Now, if this is wrong, I'll just look at my packages folder and I hit enter. And I kind of have this rule. So normally I would have looked in my packages folder. So let me go ahead and do that, because I do have a rule. Anytime I open the package.json file, I close all other files. Not any time, but I try. Like unless it just doesn't make sense. Like if I'm just happening to give in there, let's just validate that it is in fact. Oh well, Cypress did open, but yes, Cypress opened. So that's why that command works. So let's see. Let's wait for it to open. I was watching. Here we go. Configured. I'll tell you. So I was watching you. Sometimes YouTube is awesome, and sometimes it's awful. And I think they honestly, I do think they have a button that they click, and they're like, make it awesome, make it awful. I'm pretty sure it's awful when they're trying to encourage you to buy their subscriptions, pay $20 a month or something, so that you don't get ads. And then so like normally, I guess they probably go through different phases where they're trying to gather more users, and then they're probably go through a phase where they try to make money off their users by converting them um, into paying subscribers. Now, I do think that if YouTube ever achieved their goal of being a 100% subscription based thing, like I don't know if that's their goal, but let's say they have a billion users and all billion of those users are subscribers. Like let's say that's their goal. Um, there, it's gonna be awful. It's not gonna be very good. Because I don't think that any centralized organization can figure out exactly what everybody wants to see. And so the magic of YouTube is that like people create content and then other people look for content and then you find the content that you want. Um, but when it becomes a subscription, then it becomes more about like trying to guide people to content and stuff like that. And that I just don't think works. Um, but anyways, I mean, it does work, but it doesn't work that well. So now I'm going to tell it to start E2E testing in Chrome because I'm only really going to support Chrome. Um, so let's go ahead and do that. It always takes over the whole screen, but if I hit that, I don't know what that name of that is. Um, but the thing to change it goes back to thing. So one thing, so we can start off nice and easy, is we know the home is going to break. And the reason I just remember that when we built out home, um, it was we would automatically get a a when we first built it, we would automatically get a visualization, and now it's looking for that visualization. It can't find it because it doesn't exist anymore. Now I do think the home probably just needs to be modified to look for this thing up here now. Um, so let's go ahead and look at our script, and then we'll look at our code. I don't know how you look at your script. I thought I was gonna look at my script. So that's I guess you look at the script in Visual Studio, which makes sense. Um, so the Cypress scripts. Let's just close everything up. They are not in the source code. Yeah, they're in the Cypress folder. And then they have, I think it's E2E and then home. And so basically it goes there and it looks for a canvas tag, but we don't have a canvas tag anymore. But what we do have is this inspect. We have I don't know, I guess because it was up and running. Um, so we have an app menu. Okay. Now, for some reason, and I don't quite understand why, we get it. The IDE doesn't really know how to read this Cypress, and when I did get it to read the Cypress, then it couldn't read the Jasmine Karma scripts anymore. Then it would have the same issue, and I guess for Cypress, unfortunately for Cypress, but fortunately also, um, the um, what do I try to say? Oh, Cypress I think is a little easier to code. or actually a tremendously amount easier to code than Jasmine Karma. So I would rather have the IDE support from Jasmine Karma, and it has something to do with either the TS config or the Angular.json. Um, and like when, and I installed Cypress after I installed the TS, the other one. And what happened, I don't know why I said the other one. Uh, so Jasmine Karma came with Angular 19. Apparently, that's not going to be the case later. But I think it's still coming with 20, but I think they've deprecated. So that's going to be an interesting experience when I upgrade and they've deprecated it, and who knows what kind of weirdnesses I'm going to get out of that. But anyways, um, they've deprecated it, and Jasmine Karma. But uh, since this one came afterwards, it used to support. It would know how to look at CY and knew what was going on, but now it doesn't. And I actually had to write code to get it to be more supportive of the Angular Karma, of the Jasmine Karma. Um, but let's see, Control V. So I think we can just say get app menu because app menu is a top level thing. So let's go back over here and see if it just automatically runs it. No, it doesn't. So now I think we click on this and see if it passes now. Yep. So basically just found the menu. And that the only reason for this first one is just make sure like it's not just straight up busted, nothing works. And so now we have fixed that. And so now we'll click on this. And I believe the second one, which is looking for a um, visualization on there, is going to fail because there are no visualizations. And this one is actually going to be more difficult and more interesting because what I think I need to do is select this and click on it. And then I need to select, I think it'll automatically, and then I go on to the next one and click. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen. So basically, what happens right now, I think, is when you click this, I think it might automatically, yeah. See, it automatically made that the prompted onto that, and that's an Angular material thing. It just automatically does that. So then the keyboard keys and all that work automatically. Um, so we need to, first thing we need to do is select the menu, I think. And we do that in the first test. We probably need to assign this to something. My guess is get returns a thing. So, um, so let's go to, I have no idea how to do this. This is a brand new technology for me. It's in a language that I'm very, very familiar with, but it's a brand new technology. So I need to, I don't know how to do it. So I need to use some kind of helper to help me. And this helper did not exist 2 years ago. So I'm getting better at it, and it does make me a lot faster. Could I figure out all this stuff on my own? Sure. At this point, I could. I don't know if well, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this sort of thing happens. And then it might even be down. We might have to try to figure out our own. Okay. I thought ChatGPT might be down. Um, so I was watching a lady talk about China on YouTube, and someone had asked her, hey, she was live, and someone asked her, hey, how do you, why don't you create a members channel? And she was just like, it was really interesting. She was from China, but I think she lives in the U.S. And she was just like, hey, my initial mission was to create um, authentic content that people could use as a resource to understand China. That was my goal because I grew up in China. I was educated in China. I understand the Chinese culture, and that was my goal. If I create a member area, then I will lose track of that authentic. That goes away from my original goal. And I guess that's the thing is it's always in you have a mission when you do something like this. You have a mission, and my mission was to demonstrate how I, as a person who's been coding for almost 50 years now, um, yeah, almost 50 years, like 46 years now, and professionally for 29 years, very close to 30 years, how I code. Because to be honest with you, there just isn't much out there. Like most things about software development are like highly polished, refined pieces of entertainment for, and they're useful. I'm not criticizing them, but I'm just saying they don't really demonstrate how someone actually codes. And so that is my original most desire, so my original desire on this was not to get a bunch of subscribers, not to do this for a living, nothing like that. It was just to demonstrate how people actually code. And then as the first really good side effect I found from that was that I got much, much better at actually explaining technical things, which then made my quality of life at work a lot better because people can ask questions and then I can give them answers. It's really hard when people ask questions and you know the answer, but you don't know how to say the words. By the way, so I am using, what is this thing called? Cypress. IO for E2 E testing. And I want to select a menu item, and I guess I should say called, what is this thing called? What are you called? I do think there is a chance that, uh, what did you call me, Rhett? There is a chance that, oh my gosh, the name of that is app menu. That's very unfortunate. Called app menu, app menu. Um, to click it, and that causes. I guess that's the first thing. Okay, so we're doing the dot click. Click force true. Let's see. Return anything. Returns a chainable object. Oh, I've never heard that. That is a really good Cypress chainable object. I like that phrase. I don't know if that's like a real phrase or not. Um, all right. So basically, I want to do this. I like I feel like this is a little bit more readable. Is to do an assignment. So get a ret, get a reference to the menu icon, and then const menu icon. I like that. I think it reads more like English. Um, you know, so now I have I've moved this into more of how my brain works with where menu icon is like a noun. And now I can say menu click on menu icon. Menu icon dot click. Don't know if that's going to work, but I'm going to ask, would this work? No, it won't work. Oh man, that sucks. Oh. That's such a bummer that you can't do this because I just feel so much more comfortable with this kind of code. Um, that's a shame. I thought I was being so clever. See, now I have to do two things in one line in English and click on it and click. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it definitely did not. Okay, so it did open it. Okay, so now what happens there? Well, now that I have it open, let's go back to this view with this thing. And let's just right click on this guy. And let's say, is this, so that's our app viz, app menu, button. I thought I named that. Oh, it's closed. Oh, no, it didn't. Menu icon, matte menu. Okay. Ooh, so this is going to be really tricky. And this is kind of why you do this kind of, why I do this kind of thing. Because I do like to understand exactly how something like this is working. Okay. Matte menu content. And this would be like, so, you know, just to be, you know, obviously not, I'm not here to cheerlead for Cypress. You know, I'm not like a Cypress disciple or anything like that. Um, but I will say you have to be able to code in order to use Cypress. This is not something that like you can come up and so that you could just come up and what did I try to say? You can't. You would have to be a good developer. Oh man, my light is being completely messed up by that software. I mean, by the sun right now coming through the window. I think. Let me see if it's. I don't think it's a dirty. Yeah, it's the sun coming through the window. It was. I don't think it was like that at the beginning of this meeting, or this meeting, this thing. Okay, so I have a map menu that pops up. Okay, so let's ask. Let's ask about that. Trying to find my. Did I close the browser? Here, I'm just gonna make this small. Oh, there it is. Okay, so so once the element is clicked, a mat menu element is created, is rendered. Okay, I want to click on the first and only menu item. Thank y'all. I have to admit, I do like the is it called a map menu item? Okay, let me give it this code. Again, I will say this every single time because it's so important. Do not do this with production code. Don't freaking paste it into anything. If there's one thing that can get you fired, that's it. Okay, so this is. Let's see if it gives me a few more details. Because I have a feeling that wouldn't work. Okay. Okay, so I wonder if our first one is actually. Let's hit this little back button. Okay. So I don't like this. Click the menu trigger your component. But I do like this thing. Wait for the menu item tray and overlay and click. So that is weird that this is doing so much, right? Because not only is it clicking on it, it's waiting for it. It's doing all kinds, and apparently this should here has sort of baked into it to wait. And I don't really like code like that. I like code that where I know exactly what's going on. You know, a side effect of using should is apparently there's a wait, and we'll see if that actually even works. But if it works, then what should happen, I think maybe it'll even pass this test if it works. I think run all tests. Does that run the very first one too? Oh, see, now we are passing. Okay, what's the time? 8:33. We're crushing it, guys. All right, so the next one needs to do that 16 times so that we get 16 of these before it attempts to run the next, before it attempts to like do the resizes and stuff like that. And then, man, I think we'll be done. I think that'll be. Oh, okay. Then I want to add an additional test that tests that the space, enter, and click all work. That is, so we'll want to write one more test. But man, so I will say that while I don't like that Cypress seems to do a lot of things for you as sort of side effects, I don't like that, but I do like that it is turning out to be. Do you like that? That it is turning out to be kind of like more. Let's see, I have this thing. It's kind of funny. My kids gave it to me. It's probably a good way to get, for Christmas. It's probably a good way to get fired. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. So every time something doesn't work, to push that. Okay, I was about to give it to Rhett to play with, but you know what? There's way better things to do with that. Let me see. Give her an index card. I have so many index cards that are used from when I was when I was doing a paralegal test, my class, my job is just so is very demanding right now, which I like. I'm learning about Optima, Optima Jet workflow engines. I'm actually doing a bunch of coding and with that, which is really really cool. But anyways, so we are done with that second one. So let's go and try the third one, which should definitely break because it's assuming that we're gonna have 16 of these things, and then it's gonna but it's like hey, I couldn't find it. So we want that to happen 16 times. So just general logic tells you that I should be able to add that and then do it 16 more times, and it'll just work. But that doesn't. That is not a guarantee. So okay, so I'm gonna ask. I kind of want to learn though. Sometimes I like to learn the hard way. So I think we need both of these lines. And again, like so with regular visual with regular code, like you don't want to repeat yourself. But I find that with unit tests, Jasmine Karma unit tests, uh, the things that we generally do to prevent repeating ourselves tend to make things worse, tend to make things way more complicated, make it way harder. So I do think that is, for me personally, that's an exception to the do not repeat yourself concept. In general, I really like that concept. Like honestly, like for regular, like your application code, it's like 99.9999% of the time, do not repeat yourself is the right thing. But I don't know this in Cypress. I don't have any experience points. I have a lot of coding, but I don't have any XP. So we'll see. Now, I would like to, in some ways, I would like to just ask if, hey, how do I do this 16 times? But I do want to try to see, like, will I get two of them if I. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I need to do this at the very least. Okay, so I do have this wait time thing visited in here. Or, and so, like I said, I think all these sort of things have weights built into them. So you don't need to understand sort of a weight and things like that. I think it takes care of that for you, which is, you know what, in the context of end-to-end testing, maybe that's a good thing because people screw that up every freaking time. So, maybe, their experience just. So it did run it while we were gone. The test actually checks to see if anything exists, but it's so weird that adviz is in the wrong place, but and that seemed to have more to do with my interacting with it than anything else, and I have a feeling that's like something's happening inside. All right, so theoretically, if I copy and paste this line of code, I'll have two of them. Or, well, see, I wonder if I do dot click again. So I don't even like that, but I just want to see. So it did work. Okay, so we did know that. I don't, yeah, because see, I was thinking, and I actually want to see what happens if I copy this, if it happens again. If that works. No, it did not work, I don't think. Oh, yes, it did work. and it takes it like 3 seconds to fill because of that wait time. So okay, so we know a way that works that we can hack through, but now let's see if ChatGPT can help us do this in a more acceptable and emotionally less jarring way, less hacky way to do it. Okay, want to click the menu item 16 times. See, I like that. That's kind of what I was hoping to do. Now it is kind of weird that we're doing a get over and over and over again. It seems like you would only. So I'm going to create another function, another variable here called viz count. So this time I really thought there was a good chance that this was going to take longer than unit testing. I really thought that, but it definitely is not. It's definitely not. Now, it's also like we're examining something that's at a higher level. And I would say in some ways it's more important, and sometimes it's in some ways it's less important. So it's kind of weird though, because we're clicking this, doing this, and clicking it, and I don't think that's gonna. It doesn't seem like that should work because we're gonna click the app menu again. Um, we should click that app. So this thing is just gonna be like a little thing that just bugs me over time. I'm probably gonna. That's probably literally gonna be the next thing I work on is just getting rid of that, dealing with that menu. Because I want to, if I'm working on this in 5 years, I don't want to be annoyed again when I see app menu. Oh, okay. So it's saying move this piece out of the loop. Did I paste that in there? I guess I didn't paste that in there. So this is probably what I want. Let's see if that works. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to play that sound. So I almost feel like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I want. Don't know what I want. No, it didn't click at all. Where is it? Yeah, so that didn't work. Let's try the original code and see if that works. All right, what am I doing wrong? Okay, I have to admit it is getting annoying. Um, let's see if we can get back to it working at all. Okay, so that works. So, and then, oh, so we did do it 16 times. Okay, so how did we do a for loop? Let's just go back to just doing a for loop. Is there just a problem with that? I wonder if you can console log. So now my brain is just on fire. I remember about 5 years ago, this girl I knew, she was that was a good friend of my son's, was like, um, she had learned Python in college, and she was telling, and I was showing her a for loop like this, and she was just like, "Oh my god, that is so fascinating! I'd never seen that." She'd only seen for eaches and those sorts of things, and she'd never seen the basic one. And she's like, "And that makes so much sense." It was kind of funny. Um, I don't know where console logs will show up, but it did not like. Oh, well, no, it failed. So that all worked. Um, I didn't see the console log in here. I wonder if this has a console. Ah, there we go. There's our console logs happening. Okay, so now let's see why. I don't know why that other one, that other line. So to me, it seems like what we want is to move this into here. Oh, wrong one. Oh, that's funny. Take care of this thing. Cancel. Let's see. Is this it? This is it right here. Looked weird to me. Maybe it. Okay, so it did one too many because of the because of that last call. So let's go ahead and get rid of this one. Okay, so yeah, we did do it outside. We clicked the menu outside of the for loop, and then we clicked the item 16 times. Oh, this is kind of cool. Okay, that's cool, right? And I think we want to close the menu because we want it to be a cool. So I think, so the click on, yeah. Then I'm wondering, can that be a function? Can I, maybe the, can I call a function that does this? I like that, how that, you can see the thing. So did not click on. The menu the second time. See what maybe you can't. I wonder if I can get the body and click on it and close it that way. Oh yeah, Feel like the master of the universe. That's a good feeling. Woo, 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 woo. 850. All of the Cypress unit tests are fixed, and the last one looks effing amazing. It is interesting though that the that stays selected up there. Well, oh, okay. So I wonder if I click on the body twice, if it'll go away. I bet you it will. It's to the body. To close the menu. I like that. The menu. That 3 was pretty cool. To deselect the menu. Now, do I think like a person who didn't know Angular and wasn't intimately didn't have an intimate relationship with this application could write this? I don't know. I just don't know. It's so hard to know like what you could do if you didn't know something. But I do think this is freaking amazing, and I think Cypress is freaking awesome. That is definitely something I enjoy. That is an experience I'm enjoying. I'm glad the sun has moved out of that. And it does kind of tell me like sometimes in meetings you'll see in movies you'll see so I'm going to reduce it to 1 second. In movies you'll see like, oh, we figured out where they are based on what was happening and the time stamp and stuff like that with the sun, and I guess that did make sense. You could probably figure out literally with enough information, you have enough information to figure out probably exactly where I'm sitting based on that, what was happening there. 8:53. All right, so I liked that, the 1 second break. I do like it. I think it's because that first part takes a little bit of time, so so you don't mentally need as much time to sort of come up to speed. But Cypress is freaking awesome because it is just running. Like I wish I'd had this in my old one, because like I had gotten to where I was building some really, really cool visualizations, but building the visualization would take like an hour and a half, and I didn't have an hour and a half every day to do before I could start the video, so this is awesome. Let's see. Let's try 4 seconds and just see how that is. That's like kind of the other thing, is this is just more entertaining for me as a developer than unit tests. It's just more fun. Now I definitely felt like I grew as a developer. I want to see that again. I definitely felt like I grew as a developer more from the unit tests than I did from this. I do find it to be very, very stimulating. Let me try this one more. Let me try this with like a half a second now. That is probably the most enjoyable part of this, is how easy it is just to experiment, try new things. I don't know. Now I'm starting to think that the 4 seconds was better than. Let's try 2 seconds. Not a fifth of a second. All right, so 8:56. Got to start working 4 minutes, so I need to start shutting her down. I will tomorrow. We'll build out a something that just basically checks the space, clicking the space, clicking the enter, and using the click, um, and and that will be our new spec. And then yeah, and then probably commit and push all the changes, and then Sunday or maybe tomorrow I'll build out. Sunday I'll probably build out my 3 minute, do my 3 minute video and upload it to YouTube, and then link to it from LinkedIn and see how that works out for me. I think this is effing awesome, and I definitely, one of the first things I want to do is get rid of that stupid app menu selector, because that will literally bug me a little bit every single day that I use this application. And if I get it right and it lasts for 10 years, I do not need to have that little bit of annoyance every single day for the next 10 years. So anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.